Okay, so I'm down here on vacation in Texas. Well, not really vacation. Zoe Ann is competing in the Junior Olympics down here for judo, but I always have time for reading. So I'm reading my last Mark Twain nominee, Have a Chance. And I wanted to take this time to show you one of the ways that I take notes in my writer's notebook of things to help me out when I'm writing. And I've done several ways, and they are in other videos from last year, but this was a new thing that I did this year that I thought I'd show you how to do. So while I'm reading my books, I also have my writer's notebook, which isn't decorated yet. I'm going to be doing that later. But if you look at my writer's notebook right now for Have a Chance, I'm only on like the second chapter, but I've already got a ton of words. And what I did was labeled my page, Have a Chance, and then I'm looking for awesome parts of speech. So I'm looking for not just ordinary words that I already know, but I'm looking for nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs that are just a little bit different so that I have new words in my vocabulary, and they may be words that I know, but I just don't think of reading. So, for instance, I'm going to turn it to the book. Okay, here's our book page. When I read through, I just have my pencil ready, and I'll just start right about here. That's where I left off. By the time I got to the beach, the sky was already glowing a dusty blue. "Hey, Lucy, I hope I didn't wake you," Dad said. "I thought I'd shoot for our first New Hampshire sunrise." "Me too. The early morning was so quiet that I could hear the waves hitting the beach, the leaves moving, and the birds chittering." There we go, right there. Chittering. It's a verb because it's what the birds are doing. So in my writer's notebook, under my verb section, I'm just going to add the word chittering. And if I don't know what it means, which I can tell from the sentence, it's probably like, then I'll look it up later. From somewhere far away, the train whistle blew. Across the water came a haunting call again. And haunting is an adjective because it's describing the noun call. So I could put that under my adjective section. Haunting. "What's that sound?" I asked. "It sounds like a wolf howling." "That's the loons," Dad said. "They're black and white water birds, a little bigger than a duck and a bit smaller than a goose." "Birds are making that sound?" I asked. "Are they going to do that every morning?" He smiled. "Probably, but they'll only wake you up this time of year. They come to the lakes in the spring to fish and raise their chicks, but in October and November they'll leave to spend the winter on the ocean. Really, we're lucky to have them. They are a threatened species in New Hampshire." Which that's another good adjective, threatened, which can also be a verb. They're using it to describe a species, but it's also a verb because he threatened me would turn it into a verb. So you could actually put it in either space. But since I don't see it used as an adjective very often, I am going to put it threatened. Making sure I use my resources, making sure it's spelled right, I put threatened in. Species in New Hampshire. "I bet it's their neighbors who are threatening them," I joked. That's a good dialogue tag, joked. Because they're annoyed to being woken up. I felt a tiny jab on my neck and slapped at the mosquito. Jab here is a noun, even though a lot of times it's a verb, it's a noun, and I'm going to put it under the nouns, jab, because it was used as a noun. Where there was one, there were sure to be hundreds more coming, mosquitoes. "Do you want some bug spray?" I asked. He didn't look up. Oh, and that's a hyperbole right there. And if you didn't know, I have in my section my figurative language. Up here I've been keeping track. I already have one for Have a Chance, but I could also put the hyperbole in where there's one, there are hundreds more to come, because although there might be a lot, she's exaggerating, saying there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes. So I could write that under my hyperboles. Have a chance. I'm keeping track of where I got it from. Trying to get something from each of the books for each of the things I've got in my writer's notebook. Dad didn't look up from his camera, so I dug around in his backpack until I found it. I don't like the sticky, tight feeling of bug spray on my skin, but bug bites are work. A pink blushed the horizon. I look for a good subject for my shot. No need to think about the background. That'd be the lake and the morning sky, but I needed something for the foreground. The left behind lawn chair on Nate's dock might make a pretty black silhouette. There's a great noun. Turning back to my section, making sure I spell it right. S-I-L-H-L. Adverbs are a little bit harder to find, but one good way to find an adverb is most of the time they have an ly behind them. Adverbs describe verbs. Immediately ran, gently pushed, mostly running, the friendly pat on the back, all describing nouns. They don't have to be an adverb, but when it describes an adverb and has an ly, it's an adverb. But I'd have to walk on their beach and to get a good shot. Do people own the beach or just their lawn? I don't know, Dad said, but it doesn't matter. We're the only ones awake this early. The surrounding cottage windows were all dark. Maybe Dad was right and no one would know. As the sky was deepening in the mauve and blue, what a great adjective. That's a color of purple, by the way. I hurried to find a spot in the sand near Nate's family's dock. Here comes, Dad called. A streak of sun surged over the mountains on the far side of the lake. That right there is personification. It's giving the sun kind of like it's alive. So it's saying that the streak of sun surged over the mountains on the far side of the lake. So I could go to my personification, which I already have a half a chance one. Notice I'm going and underlining the titles. I have an old barn with a white rim, tired eyes watching the lake. I can add a streak of sunlight surged, because that is just a non-living object given a human quality, which is what personification is. I'm going to stop here and hope you got something out of this video about some ways to record in your writer's notebook. And if you look right now, even though I'm adding on, right here would count as one assignment because it's half a page of good writing that's going to help me. I've got whole pages here where I did advanced vocabulary. If I want to fill during one reading, the things you can do are do participation, record. I've almost got 2 full assignments here. I'd want to fill in these. You want about 2 columns because you want it to equal half a page, not just be half a page. Another one I did where I finished a complete assignment, dialogue tags. When I was reading all 4 stars, every time I came across a new dialogue tag, I recorded it in and I got a whole page of dialogue tags, which would count as 2 writing assignments because half a page is 1, and it's collecting ideas that will help you. So now when I go to do my own writing, if I have characters that are talking, I can go back and use one of these dialogue tags instead of the word said all the time. I can use some of these better verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. I have a place to look. And of course, this is page 19. So I'm going to go to 19 in my table of contents and write awesome parts of speech from half a chance. And notice it's a title, so I capitalize all the big words except for this book title because she didn't capitalize that book title, but I did underline it to show that it's a book title. Hope that helped you out. Get reading and get recording in that writer's notebook.